Here we go. Okay, so this is following up with what David was talking about. There's a certain period of time when you can be home and you can have your family or your roommate and you can be prepared and you can bug in and you can have some food and water. But when you reach the point that he described where you have got to go, or possibly you may be in a little bit of a more secure place where other people that you know have to go and they're planning to come to you. Either way, it's you're going to have a group. That's the next level of prepping. First, you prep at home, and then when you need to go someplace or have people join you, that's level 2, and that's prepping with other people. And there are 2 parts to this. One of them is your neighbors, and the other is your friends and family. The part about your neighbor is that you're going to need to start preparing with your neighbor at the point that you start preparing. It's something that you're going to do while you're doing your own personal preps at home. These are some things that you would start to do at the same time, because you are going to, in the future, need to be able to share the responsibilities. You get a situation where you can't handle it with just the people that are in your house, just like David mentioned. And some of the powers, the strength that you get from that are skills that other people have that you don't have. You can trade off sleeping. So some people can work, some people can sleep, some people can be on security, some people can go out and leave their home and family behind and be able to go out and get supplies or help others. That could be during or after chaotic situation. If you did have an intruder or your house, needed some extra security, you'd have more people to be able to handle that. And you'd have way more protection for any children because you'd have more adults who would be able to handle. And very important, you'd be able to strategize with more people. There's only so many ideas you might have, and in a panic situation, do I do this, do I do that? And you have a group of people, they can say, hey, this is it, let's go out this window, whatever the case may be. So these are the things that you would start to do, prepare for right as you are doing your own preps anyway. And that is something that Barb covered to a pretty good degree already last time. Just to remind you and show you how that fits together, you want to get to know your neighbors. And just like David going on a walk today, I highly recommend taking a walk around your neighborhood or around your apartment complex for that matter, or down by the pool or the exercise room or something, especially after work time when you notice other people out and about and it's a good time for getting to meet people. And just say hi to everyone. I mean, people will go into conversation or not, talk about things that are real to them. And that is one good way to just say hi to somebody a few times and, hey, where do you live? And, where you come from, whatever, just be friendly. And then if there is any kind of a neighborhood group or HOA association, you should join that. And you should get active in it, go to the meetings, take a post, and contribute to them whatever it is that they need. You will find like-minded people. I've made friends with a gal 3 doors down who's just a great young gal. I said something to her, well, we're having an event. Well, we're gonna do the name game, my famous name game, and she loves it. And she was like, yeah, but we just have to not put political things in there. And I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. And then she looked at me and she says, but I think you and I are both on the same side. I mean, it's pretty easy to tell when people are of like mind. It doesn't take more than a short conversation to pretty much figure that out. So you will find like-minded people. And the next thing would be, like David mentioned to the neighbor today, we're thinking about starting a neighborhood watch. Now, this is a very popular idea right now. For those of you who don't know, this is an organized activity that's supported by, I can't remember if it's the police department or the fire department, one of you might know, but they love to have these. And they will come to your group meeting, or you have a meeting at your home, and they'll tell you how to set it up. And basically you get the phone numbers of the people around you, and they're who lives where. And if you notice something odd or suspicious happening, you have their number and you can call them. And, if there's a fire, or there's, somebody's ill, or you'll be able to be in touch with people and be able to help them out. So that would be a good way to start finding out who in your neighborhood is into things like that. And they would be a perfect match for you to put together a little neighborhood group. And then the very key thing is to help them and develop friendships and trust. Like this gal down here, you can see over our fence that we have food. And she's, yeah, I see that you grow a bunch of stuff. I would love to grow some stuff. So I've been giving her clippings, and she's planting them in her backyard. She's just thrilled, And that's the next step. Encourage them to store food, plant food, and store water. So um, it's been pretty simple to get her interested, and that's typical way it goes with social people. So social personalities will go right into conversation. You work with them. Others won't. Just keep being friendly. So now as you do this, you want to take notes. Like I have a little sheet here where I put down the name, their address, their phone number, and any information that I got. What skills do they have? Are they security trained? If I find that out, I know where there's an emergency doctor that lives 1 block down on the left. And you find these things out quite easily. So then at some point, like you talk to your neighbors and put together likely, a meeting of interested people about how you would mutually handle an emergency to secure your area. So that would just be a matter of, hey, come on over, let's make a plan for how we can help each other or something. Yeah, or there may be an existing plan in the neighborhood that you live, and you can tie in with that. And the neighborhood watch is a perfect way to get that started. And then you set up your communication lines with them, and you exchange phone numbers, you put together a phone tree, and then you can talk about how will we communicate if we don't have our cell phones. And then you would gather the materials that you would need to hold your responsibility and your part of that. Okay, so then the next part of the group, of course, is your family and friends. And it's similar. First thing you want to do is listen to the Ability Congress, minimally the lecture, Creating a Third Dynamic. And you will have a correct frame of mind about what you're doing and why, and read the references in the Congress. And then first you start with the people that you live with, right? You talk to others and get their understanding of the idea and their willingness to prepare your home or your apartment. Sometimes husbands and wives don't have the same view on this, and you have to use LH references or anything online to bring up the reality of somebody so they understand the importance. If they don't, well, you'll need to do it anyway, because somebody has to take responsibility for that household. And so now here's the way that you can talk to your friends and relatives about being prepared. It's just in conversation. You say, so are you concerned about a food shortage? Or do you have all the hurricane preparations you need, or earthquake, or whatever the natural disaster threat is in your area? Or you could say, I just came from a meeting where they spoke about a potential power outage. Do you know anything about generators? Or this is actually right out of the lecture. Do you have a place to go if you had to evacuate? And this just starts conversations. People will just, well, I've been thinking about it. Most people tell me, well, I've been thinking about that. I don't really know what to do, or whatever. And then you just start the conversation. Oh, I'm going to get some people over Friday night. We're going to, talk about that. You want to come by? It's so easy. It's so easy. Now I put here conditional. If the person doesn't believe anything bad could happen and doesn't intend to prepare, end the topic and look elsewhere without telling them your plans. Unless, of course, they're a close family, in which case you might want to try a little bit harder because you are going to want to take care of them and protect them. So you might want to work on it a little bit. But if in the initial conversation somebody says, oh, no, nothing bad's going to happen. I don't believe any of that stuff. I've been hearing about that all my lifetime. Just acknowledge them and move on. Don't necessarily tell them what your plans are, because you don't necessarily want them to come and find out what you have because they know that you haven't. So people of like mind will jump into the conversation. There's no problem finding them. Then you introduce the idea of working together. You tell them a group is being formed and invite them to a meeting. And this should be an in-person meeting. And some of you have been around a while and they recognize this pattern. This is exactly how David and I got this started. Just have a meeting, have people get to know each other, have some snacks, show a movie, read the idea of the club and the references, or parts of them. And then take your CPG int manual, which we never had before, but now it's just as easy as it can be. You take the manual and you have people look it over and you say, who here knows about storing food or cooking food off grid or filtering water or has medical training, etc. And have each person pick a topic. And then you just tell them, hey, listen, here's the section of this manual. Just use it to prepare a talk for the rest of us at the next meeting. And then they come to the next meeting and you tell them to bring a few people with them when they come back. And actually, I don't know if we even did that. I think people just did it automatically. They were like, oh, they knew somebody or they mentioned it to somebody. Oh, I went to this meeting. This guy's putting a group together. And then we had 6 and we had 20 and we had 30, it just kept expanding. But you can ask people, invite some people who are interested and bring them to the meeting. And the last step is repeat. Schedule the meeting, do training, encourage people to apply what they learned between meetings. Like if your meeting is 2 weeks away, then they should apply what they learned at the meeting during those 2 weeks. And when they come back, they can talk about what their experience was. And then you just keep doing that. You have another meeting, you train, and you have people bring more people back, and you are learning new subjects all the time. And watch what happens. That's what I have for you.